Have you ever gone to the gym, sidled up on one of the treadmills and, started walking, and maybe after a couple of minutes you increase the pace, maybe increase the incline, you started trotting a little bit, and you're going along at a pretty good clip. You got your headphones in, you're watching your YouTube videos, you're listening to your podcasts, and you're kind of minding your own business, and then a couple minutes go by, somebody sidles up next to you and they get on the treadmill right next to you, even though that there's like 20 other treadmills that they could have gotten onto. They chose the urinal right next to you and made it really awkward for everybody. But there they are, to you two now running on treadmills side by side. And if you're anything like me, you are pathologically competitive. So as soon as you see this person running on the treadmill next to you, your instinct is to, out of the corner of your eye, look over and just try to get a gauge for, how fast they going. What kind of speed they working with? What kind of incline are they working with? And if they're going slower than you or their incline is less, you start to go, oh, I'm faster than them. Cool. It's the same thing when you're out on the trails and you're running and you see somebody ahead of you and you like start to speed up a little bit because you want to catch them, or when you're running and you kind of find that person who's matching your pace a little bit and you suddenly find yourself in a race to the death and you don't even know how this happened. Now, maybe this doesn't resonate at all with you, but this is something that I'm guilty of. And I was thinking about this the other day because it's actually quite silly if you're on the treadmill looking over at the person next to you and putting any stock or weight into what they're doing, right? Like, we know this intellectually because, spoiler alert, neither of you are going anywhere. You're both more or less just fighting to stay in the same spot, right? Regardless of what speed or incline you put it at, you're both just fighting to stay exactly where you are. So the treadmill doesn't go anywhere, and it doesn't matter how fast they're going or how fast you're going relative to them. It doesn't matter. And you can intellectualize this, you can understand this very easily in the case of like actually physically running on a treadmill, right? Like, we get how silly that is. And yet, if you extrapolate that metaphor out to encompass our lives, the truth is there is no race. There is no falling behind others. If you're, 22 and you feel like you're out of college and your best friend has got this great corporate job making all this money, you feel like you're falling behind. Or you're 32 and your best friends are getting married and you feel like you're falling behind. And you're 45 and now, you're not getting those promotions to the VP level, and now you feel like you're falling behind, right? The truth is, you're not falling behind because there is no race. It's literally just you on a treadmill. It's just you on a treadmill. And it's everybody else on a treadmill. And we convince ourselves that it's some kind of race, that's some kind of comparison. But what's happening on that guy's treadmill next to you doesn't affect your treadmill, nor will it ever affect your treadmill. It doesn't matter how fast they're going, what they have, where they're going. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect you. It will never change the direction of your treadmill. It will never change the speed or the quality of your experience on the treadmill. The only thing that you really have is your experience on that treadmill. And the goal is to make that experience as enjoyable or as purpose-filled as possible. And you don't do that. You don't accomplish either of those things by fixating on the people around you and what they are doing or accomplishing, and those feelings of falling behind, they do not serve you. And so I wanted to share this because I think it's natural for humans to fall into this hierarchical pecking order, to pay attention to where others rank relative to you. This is the status game of life. For there to be a number 2 on the ladder, then it means that somebody else has to get displaced, right? There can only be one number 1. And so it makes sense that humans care about this in tribal days when we're out in the savannah and we're in our little pods of human. It mattered quite a lot. And in many areas of life, there really are hierarchies, and it can matter. But in the grand scheme of the cosmos, the universe, and the internal turmoil that you might be experiencing in relation to your hierarchical place in the world, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. What matters is that you are on your own treadmill and that you have to make the most of that experience. And I share that because it's something that I personally struggle with. Like the comparisonitis game, it never goes away no matter how successful you are in business or in whatever domain of life that you think is the most important. Like it never goes away. Your comparisonitis, it never really goes away. Keeping up with the Joneses, it never really goes away. So the thing that really just helps me reground myself is to remember I'm not falling behind. It's literally just me on a treadmill. And all I can do is keep going. And so, my friend, keep going. I hope this brings you some value. I'll catch you guys back here tomorrow. Until then, stay hyper-focused, my friends.